This is the module for enabling TrendMicro Deep Security Antivirus with Cloud Plugin. Today we'll be concentrating on TrendMicro Antivirus and VMware powered BizCloud. So we'll need to be talking about how to configure the Deep Security server and how to configure the Agility Platform server as well. On the deep security side, we'll have 4 tasks: enable the SOAP web service, enable a TrendMicro user, and allow agentless protection of vCloud VMs. If we want to set separate policies to have differing antivirus policies for different sets of virtual machines, we'll have to set that as well. Create a policy on the deep security server, and then we'll call that policy with Agility Platform. Remember that this will be agentless. So we're actually using Agility Platform to talk to the underlying ESX server and then do our backups that way. So we get into the deep security server and we'll just get into services and turn on the SOAP API, and it's just right there. You go ahead and click enable. So that's pretty simple. We'll create a user that has allow access to web services API. That user's name is Agility Access. That can be anything you want, but that's one of the tabs we need to set. If we change over to the computer rights tab, we also need to set edit and a selection of computers. We'll set all computers for this example, but if you wanted to do selected computers to be controlled and antivirus protected, we can do that way. And lastly, on the system settings for the TrendMicro server, we need to set allow appliance to control vCloud VMs. On the deep security server, as you can see, those create policies we didn't talk about, but that's something that you could do on your own. Now on the Agility Platform server, we have to create a BizCloud trend config name script. If you're only going to be using for your entire Agility Platform server one TrendMicro server, then that name can be default. So it'll be BizCloud trend config default. If you'd like to have multiple TrendMicro servers and actually have one container talk to that and a second container talk to the other one, then you'll set the trend config variable on that container and you'll create a script that has BizCloud trend config name, or that whatever that name is in that script. So you can have multiple scripts, one per those config variables. Most of the time we'll just use one script with default, but that's what we're looking for. On the script itself, we'll need to set these configuration variables. The endpoint is the name or the IP address of the SOAP endpoint, username and password. Trust all is a setting we can collect that can either enable us to talk to all of the SSL certificates presented to us or none. So let's show an example. We'll log into an Agility Platform server with an account that has the ability to change scripts. We'll use the admin account. And we'll need to actually set a global script, so we'll go into the admin admin perspective. On the left side you can see scripts. We'll choose that. And we're looking for that BizCloud trend config default. So we'll search by trend. And I can see I've got a BizCloud trend config default sample. Now that's not going to work right now because it ends with sample. The cloud plugin won't actually touch it. So we'll need to clone that and name it config default. I'm going to place it in Agility Factory to begin with. And there it shows up. And now I'm going to edit it or change it. And I choose change. And the first thing to do is to change the name of the script. Like I said, the cloud plugin actually keys on a particular name of a script, so that does need to end with cloud or config default if you're using one global TrendMicro instance. If you're using multiple, then it's config some name where the name is the name of a server and then that name is keyed by the container name. We'll use default for this purpose. So I'm going to get rid of copy of and sample at the end. I'm also going to get rid of the description that said please clone this script. Now we've got the naming convention done. Now let's edit the script itself. As you can see, those configuration variables that we talked about earlier, what's the name of the endpoint? So we'll set the IP address there. We can also set the username and password. Further down, you can see trust all is true. That means we'll we'll accept any SSL certificate that a TrendMicro server gives us. If we wanted to set that to false, then we'd actually have to manually insert the SSL cert in. And retry interval and state change retries are there as well. As you can see, trend policy says default in any, so we're going to use the default policy. Again, if we wanted to use a separate policy that we had created on the TrendMicro server, we would call that out here. So we made our changes both to the name and the script by setting the endpoint, the username and password, and so on. And we're going to save it. Now, we can't use it just yet because it's both in progress and in the Agility Factory container. So we're going to actually check that in and place it in root so that all of the virtual machines created here can do so. So we'll choose check-in, choose root for the location, watch for that to populate the mailbox. We're looking for an approval setting, and we'll approve it. And that's that. So we've run through our checklist. We've made our changes to the TrendMicro server, we made our changes to the Agility Platform server, and now we are ready to create virtual machines that are backed up with TrendMicro, with Agility Platform talking to Trend talking to the VMware. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to see further videos, please check out our SharePoint site at Cloud Training. If you'd like more formal training, please visit us at aptraining.csc.com. And if you have any questions or comments, please don't hesitate to contact us at training@servicemesh.com.